tonight on Debate Amongst Friends. NFL Wildcard review and divisional predictions and so much more starting now.
This is the Professor John Gotti, and welcome to another fine edition of Debate Amongst Friends on January 9th, 2019. We're so glad you decided to join us on this Wednesday evening. We got ourselves a pretty packed show, but I have to introduce my advocate, the reigning, defending, undisputed podcast champ, Mean by God, Doc Lester. How you doing, Lester?
I'm doing great, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I decided to add something new to that intro, sir. How do you like it?
I love it. I mean, we're adding all kinds of new stuff.
I mean, I feel like Ric Flair about to take off this cardigan and drop an elbow drop right now. Woo!
Wow.
I'm not going nowhere.
Wow. But let's jump right into it. I mean, why let them wait?
Let's jump right into it. If you're not familiar with our Debate Amongst Friends Facebook or YouTube channels, you noticed that I put up a couple of videos last week with predictions. My predictions. Gotti Got Reads, the brand new series that I'm starting off, where I'm providing a little bit more of an in-depth analysis on the upcoming games and trying to see if I'm right and see if I'm wrong. And if I'm right, great. If I'm wrong, it's always a learning experience. But poor old John Gotti, he had to learn a lot this weekend. He went 0-4 when it came to the NFL. He did win a big game, but we'll get to that one later. But we had 4 wildcard teams progress further in the NFL playoffs, heading to the divisional round. We're going to quickly go through these games. Doc, we'll start off with the Colts versus the Texans. The Colts winning 21-7. Tell us about this game.
Man, we both went 0-1, first and foremost. Texans did not show up. I think I texted you and said Deshaun Watson looked like Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston at the same time. It was terrible. But ultimately, the Colts defense played fantastic. And their offense, led by Andrew Luck, which we said last week, they would go as far as he takes them.
I totally agree with you. This is definitely Andrew Luck's game, but the real story is really that defense. They keep back on it, to be honest. I should have picked the Colts, but something was like, that Texas defense, I mean, J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, like they're going to cause some havoc. They didn't do anything this game, ladies and gentlemen. They did nada.
Well, I will say,
was killing them on bombs. Eric Ebron.
I even said that.
Passes. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was quite the clinic. In fact, the Texans didn't score anything until the fourth quarter. Yeah. They had a shutout in the first half. It was terrible. They should all be disappointed with themselves. While hosting a game, you get shut out in the first half? That just doesn't work.
And I'll say this before we move on to the next game, but I'll say this. The commentators were actually blaming this on J.J. Watt. They said they pay him enough money that they need sacks, not so much batted balls. And it was so funny because they put a little graphic at the end that he leads the league in batted balls, but it didn't go with what the commentators were saying. So I found it to be hilarious.
I thought it was also hilarious as well, too. But, I mean, the Texans need to do something. They need to, rally up the troops or start moving some people, because if that's the kind of performance they're going to have for the playoffs, then they shouldn't be in the playoffs anymore.
Right.
Talk about a team that won 9 straight games, before eventually losing during the season, but still finish up the regular season rather strong. Like, that's just not the way you represent yourself in the playoffs.
Unacceptable completely, but I did hear that they are working on extending Clowney and the Honey Badger, so we'll have to keep tabs and eyes on that.
Absolutely. So let's go to the next game. We had the Seattle Seahawks falling to the Dallas Cowboys 24-22. This is also a game that I got wrong, and this was the first of many victories for Doc Lesnar. So let's start off with him again. Tell them about them boys.
Well, them boys got it done. I will say, I was a little worried, because I know you said that Dak was going to throw 2 interceptions, and last week I said I felt he was going to keep it efficient. Now, I said he was going to only have 6 to 7 incompletions. He wound up having 11 because he had to throw a few passes away. But ultimately, I was right about the 1 touchdown pass, 1 touchdown run. He was pretty efficient, pretty accurate. I hope they don't let this win go to their head, but their defense did a great job shutting it down.
I totally agree with you. In fact, I laughed after the game because I was sitting here watching it with Duke, and I was like, this is exactly what I said during the predictions video that will allow the Cowboys to beat the Seahawks. Exactly what I said.
Absolutely.
They fed the ball to Zeke. They didn't throw it past 30 yards. And honestly, that's pretty much what happened. Dak, honestly, if you looked at his passing chart, he didn't throw it past 30 yards throughout the whole game.
Which is good.
Like, it's perfect.
There were some times where
he went 22 for 33. He threw a pick, but he didn't throw it that far out.
Yeah, that pick was ridiculous.
They're playing to their strengths.
That pick was ridiculous.
It's allowing them to play old school 90s Dallas Cowboys football.
Yeah, that interception was really ridiculous, and I was just so upset because I had said I don't think he's going to throw it. I didn't think he was going to throw an interception. Now I thought you were going to be like really, really 0-2 in this situation. No,
I mean, but congrats to them. You know, we already know, we heard it a lot on our Facebook page. We them boys, and all over Twitter and all over Instagram. I mean, let's give them that 1 week. We're going to talk about the next week, this upcoming weekend's games in a moment, but allow them to celebrate,
soak in it,
the victory,
bask in it. That's right, bask in the victory.
No, we can't do that. Keith Lee might get us. I like Keith Lee. Let's not do that.
Okay.
Anywho, let's go to the third wild card game. We have the Los Angeles Chargers defeating the Baltimore Ravens 23-17. Doc, the floor is yours.
Even though I picked the Chargers, I was silently rooting for the Ravens because I felt bad for Lamar Jackson because, I'm sitting there and I'm watching this game and I'm just like, the run game is just not working, and it kind of goes back to what you said. And you were actually very spot on with your prediction of the Chargers defense. You said they were going to come crashing down, and Chris cut me off when I said when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside last week. But what the Chargers did was so immaculate. And I even talked to Il McKenzie over there, Quarantine Radio. He said the adjustment that the Chargers made to bring 3 safeties in the box to combat his speed was immaculate. I mean, it was unbelievable.
I think we can both agree, like, throughout this entire weekend, I was more correct as far as strategies.
Absolutely.
But I was incorrect when it comes to predictions.
Yeah, I didn't know what you were doing out there. I'm not going to lie to you.
Like, I was quite literally saying exactly, I think all the teams heard my game plan. They was like, we need to listen. Listen to that Professor John Gotti guy. He might know what he's talking about.
Because I was like, why on earth did he go 0-4? I have no idea what's going on, but the Gotti cloud.
And the whole time, I am just chuckling. Because they're doing exactly what I said they was going to do. And the Ravens did exactly the opposite of what I said they should do.
But it didn't, I think the Gotti cloud didn't really strike me, as being, really there, like really present until the last game. The cloud didn't seem to be raining terror, as I said in the video, on teams.
I mean,
until the last game.
I think the new moniker is the Gotti cloud of Midway.
I mean,
because that was a heartbreaker.
I mean, it was really terrible.
And we're not even Bears fans. I'm not a Bears fan. I don't have a football team. But, like, I felt bad for this team.
Oh, it was terrible.
I felt bad for the kicker.
It was really bad.
The Chicago Bears fall to the reigning, defending, undisputed NFL Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles, in a heartbreaking 16-15. Doc, what happened in this game?
So this is what I'm going to tell you, and I think where the Bears messed up, and this might be because Nagy is a new head coach, but I'm going to tell you exactly where the Bears messed up. They called a timeout. I think it might have been third and goal, I believe, and they called a timeout, and you could see it. And I think the announcer, was it Tony Romo? Was Tony Romo in this game? I want to say it was Tony Romo. He said,
I don't think
who
so.
was it? Was it Chris Collinsworth?
We could find that out.
It might have been Chris Collinsworth, but one of the announcers said, I don't know if I would have used it.
Here's a guy.
Right, here's a guy who shouldn't have used a timeout in this situation because now you down to 2 and you can't really stop the clock. So, and I was like, man, and if they had that one more timeout, they could have ran one more play down the field to get closer. Blew it. That's pink and black trunks right there.
It's a shame, but at the end of the day, I mean, this is what happens in the playoffs. You either, become the greatest of all time or you become the joke of all time. Unfortunately for the Bears, I mean, that's what happened. What really got me more disappointed with the Bears was they wasn't aggressive enough on offense.
Right. Trubisky did get hurt a little bit.
He's an elite level QB, but he didn't take as many shots down the field.
I agree.
And one of the recurring themes throughout these playoff, these wildcard games, minus the Colts game, as we aforementioned, because the Texans was obviously still in the hotel enjoying the buffet.
That's right.
But these teams really didn't get things going until the third quarter. And if you're down, because most of the scores by the time you hit around the fourth quarter was 10-6, if not for all 3 games, at least 2 of them.
Absolutely.
And then everyone started to sling the rock.
This is true,
so to speak.
And shout out to Nick Foles.
Where was all this the entire game?
It's true. Because Mitchell Trubisky threw a fantastic pass in the fourth quarter to get them set up.
Fantastic passes. In fact, I was telling the Duke after the game, and as watching the highlights, I'm like, watch what's happening on the right side of the field. This corner cannot cover Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, and I think it was the same on the other side. Allen Robinson was wide open. I mean, he wasn't wide open, but what a beautiful throw.
I think he was wide open, but the gap of space in the covers was so wide. That's why when Allen Robinson caught that pass on third and 6, that's why it was going ooh and ah, because it was so much space right there.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure that space was there the entire night.
That's true.
So I think that's just a huge missed opportunity for the Bears.
Absolutely.
This should have been their game to win. And this was by lock. And they disappointed me.
Yeah, this one sent you to 0-4, sent me to 2-2. But,
yep.
I mean, just like the Eagles, we should probably just move on to the divisional round. Let's get to some predictions you have to make up for this wild card round. I'm going
to try.
I need you to make sure that Gotti cloud doesn't rain
it might
terror.
Be a Gotti haze happening, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, I need to make sure that Gotti cloud doesn't rain terror on teams. You understand? So, I mean, let's jump into some predictions really quickly here.
Let's do it. Let's run through these games real quick. We're starting off with Saturday afternoon. We have the Colts traveling to Arrowhead to face off against the eventual MVP of the regular season. Regular season, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Letting y'all know that right now.
That's right.
Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Doc, who you got?
Now, normally, I would not bet anything on Andy Reid in the playoffs. And my gut's telling me to not do it, but that young Patrick Mahomes, a.k.a. Steph Curry's cousin over there,
wow,
he is so good. I think he's gonna beat the Colts. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs because of the MVP.
I'm also gonna go with the Chiefs. I think this might end up being a close game. If the Colts can start off with as much fire as they did the Texans, like, it's going to be quite the game to watch. But the Texans didn't even wake up out of bed.
Not even
close.
Like,
they were in the buffet, but then they decided to go back to bed because they got the itis. Like, it was a thing.
So depressing.
I feel like the Chiefs, they're going to have a week to rest up, which was this current week right here.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they can come out with this game, so I'm also going to say the Chiefs.
All right, so next game we got the
game.
Cowboys
going up against the Los Angeles Rams.
This is rough. Cowboys Rams. This is tough. I really want to say that the Cowboys are going to come in and play motivated football, but I'm so worried about the Rams. I'm so worried about Jared Goff, actually. I'm not worried about the Rams. I'm worried about Goff. I feel like the defense is going to show up, but I don't know, man. That Seahawks defense gave them boys everything they had, but the Rams defense is something special. I'm going to go with the Rams. I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going to go with the Rams. I really want to pick the Cowboys. I really do, but I can't risk the possibility of Andy Reid failing me and then Jared Goff failing me. So I'm going to go with the Rams.
You sound so, unconvinced.
I'm conflicted. It's conflicted because I really believe that they could win. The Cowboys could win.
Here's a great factor. So the Rams do not have Kupp because he's still injured.
Sure.
Todd Gurley is still not 100%.
Sure.
The Cowboys have played Gotti-style football.
They have.
And the defense is still no slouch. But we also have the soon-to-be defensive MVP on the Rams side.
Right.
Aaron Donald. And unlike J.J. Watt, unlike Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald is going to get in there. And he is going to cause some havoc. I'm also going to say the Rams. I need the Rams to win this one.
I understand. I get it. So
and that's also because I also feel like that the Rams secondary is way better than what the Seahawks had as well.
And that's true too. The Seahawks defenders were really, really getting beat badly out there.
They were getting beat by single and double moves 5 to 7 yards out.
Absolutely.
That's the only way the Cowboys can move the ball is those kind of really, really short routes to move the chains. With Cole Beasley, who wasn't playing at 100%, he's still dealing with injuries. And Amari Cooper. I don't think the Rams DBs and safeties are going to allow something like that to happen all game. People were on skates, and they just couldn't hold people. And how many broken tackles that we've seen? I'm just someone just wrap their arms around them and take them down. Do something like that. None of this little one-arm grab kind of stuff. Just take them down. And I feel like the Rams can do that. So I'm also going to say the Rams. The first game on Sunday in the afternoon, Chargers versus Patriots. The LA Chargers versus those guys out there in Foxborough, the New England Patriots. Who you got, sir?
I really, really want to choose the Los Angeles Chargers to upset the New England Patriots.
Are you going with TB12?
I'm going against him. I'm going to pick the Chargers. I think what they did last week, the defensive coordinator Gus Bradley, he really, really impressed me last week. And I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I hate myself for this because I mean Tom Brady is 8-0 in the divisional rounds, and I feel like this is gonna be a loss for your boy. But I feel like this is the game changer, and I feel like the Chargers. Philip Rivers is playing the best football of his life. He's about to have his 9th child. I feel like this is the one.
I love how you included like him having a child have a factor in this whole thing.
He's playing motivated football.
I'm also going to say the Chargers.
What?
I actually feel like that this is the beginning of the end. Like, I know people keep saying that for like the past 3-4 years, but like I really feel like with this squad, it's the beginning of the end. Now, if Belichick can pull a genie out of his hat and get that defense to become motivated, like the same smash mouth, we're not going to make you move, you shall not pass type of defense like have they done in the past couple of years, especially those years that they made it to the Super Bowl and won it.
Absolutely.
Like, play defense just good enough to allow TB12 to let it rip in a way.
Absolutely.
But I feel like this is a Patriots team that isn't the same as years past. We have a Gronk that isn't a Gronk anymore.
Right. Absolutely.
Like, he's basically the Hulk after he got destroyed by Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he is a shell of his former self.
Absolutely.
So I feel like all those things are going to play a factor, and the Chargers are riding high after a great victory. It's going to be a long day in Foxborough. Yeah, they're a warm weather team heading into Foxborough is going to be cold. No, that's not going to really matter.
I mean,
they got Melvin Gordon, they got Keenan Allen. Their defense is still tight. Like, I don't see that happening unless we have interference from the refs. But my gut is telling me it's going to be the Chargers, and I'm going to follow my gut, and I'm not going to go with my brain with this one.
Absolutely.
Eagles versus the Saints. The Eagles team that broke the Bears and Bears Nation hearts last Sunday. The same Eagles team that suddenly decided to play defense. But like I said in the recap of the Eagles versus the Bears, it was more on the Bears' offense not being aggressive enough and their defense not being aggressive enough than it was about what the Eagles did right. The Eagles played Eagles football, and that gave them the win. Like, yeah, y'all might hate me for this. Y'all might be upset with this. Get at me at Ken86 on Twitter, Professor John Gotti on Instagram. Tell me what you think. But those that are aware and those that have the capacity to think outside of the box when it comes to football, it was more on the Bears that the Eagles won than it was the Eagles beating the Bears.
Absolutely. So this last one, I'm not even going to think about it. I've already written it down. I'm choosing the Saints.
So I think we're completely in agreement with this. I'm going with the Saints. I feel like the Saints have way more firepower. Once it gets to the next round, that's going to be different. But like, they have better firepower than the Eagles. They can beat you so many different ways, and they have two excellent running backs in Alvin Kamara and Mark. Don't you say I'm a scrub Ingram the second.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be a game, but I feel like the Saints are going to run up 30 points on this team.
Boom. And I agree.